Well, welcome, and thank you for coming tonight. That was the theme from Family Guy, if you didn't know, which is actually a remarkably awesome music. If you ever listen to the show and maybe not listen to the lyrics, there's a lot of really good music in there, and Seth MacFarlane's actually a really good musician. Some neat things there. So that was the theme from Family Guy. Welcome again. Just a couple of reminders as we go through the concert tonight. Remember to silence all your electronic devices. Please no flash photography, so we don't distract what's going on here on stage. And if you could, if you need to move around or things during the concert, try not to do so while we were playing. There's some quiet moments as well as loud moments, and the doors back there as you enter and exit make quite a bit of noise as you go in and out, and it can be a little bit distracting up here on stage. Before we play our next tune, there will be some transitions in between our ensembles. We're not doing like an intermission or anything, but you'll see some quick transitions up here. Just kind of hold tight while those happen, and Mr. Tabor and I will be up here talking a little bit as well. But I do want to take a moment for you to, during those transitions, if you want to take a note of your programs and also the sign that we came in, we have a lot of supporters and a lot of sponsors of our band program, and what we do up here on stage as well as what we've done all year long would not be possible without those sponsors. So as you look through your program and you see those groups and those companies and those organizations that support us, please support them and let them know how much you appreciate them supporting our program. Jazmyne has been off to, well, say a great start, but they've had a wonderful year. Just in the past few weeks, we've had some performances that we were invited to play for a fundraiser at Brandon's house over in New Albany at the County Rec Club. And then just last week, 1 week ago, we were, I think, what do we have, like a 6 o'clock report time in the morning, right? We went over to the Speed Art Museum. We went with Dr. Evinger and Miss Jordan here from school, and we were able to play for an award ceremony for the United Way in Louisville, which was really, really nice. So they've done some really, really neat things around town, and they've had a really great time doing it. And that's kind of the special thing about Jazmyne, is you get to do some of that stuff you wouldn't normally get to do. And I want to put in one shameless plug real quick for the Jazmyne, because after this concert, they're not done yet. On Thursday, May 12th, we're doing a special concert at First Presbyterian Church. We're going to have a special guest artist, Dr. Matthew Rao. He's a leadership expert in band world, but also a fantastic alto sax player. He's a head band director at Lawrence University in Wisconsin. He'll be playing with us. It's at 7 o'clock, First Presbyterian, and also it's kind of our thank you to them as well. They really helped us out this year with our winter percussion programs during spring break, right where percussion are doing their spring state finals. The school closed down because they were working on sewers and water, and all the water was turned off. So they opened up their gym so that we could rehearse leading up to that event. So it's kind of a nice thank you for us to be able to have a concert in that venue. And I know choir and some other groups have performed there as well. So anyway, lots of really awesome things going on. We're going to play 2 more tunes for you. The next one we're going to do, and Jazmyne's expert at doing this, you'll notice that we play in a lot of different styles. If you come to that May 12th concert, you're going to hear the whole book of things that they can do, because at this point we have half hour, 15 minutes worth of music that just the jazz band can do concert on their own. So tonight's just kind of like a little small snippet of what they're doing. But this is a little bit more Latin style. The next tune we're going to do is called Cuaba.
the concert band, but before I do, how about these Jazmyne guys? So this ensemble does a lot with a very small amount of time. They meet first period in the morning, and I think what I'm about to tell you is going to change your whole perspective on the Jazmyne. If any of you have ever tried to talk to a teenager at 7:30 in the morning, you understand how that goes. These guys meet at 7:45 in the morning, and they do all of that within a 45-minute time period. So really, really, really nice job, Jazmyne. I have to say though, there's a group of teachers that stands out in our hallway when we, are watching morning duty and we solve the world's problems there. I caught a little flack from one of our teachers the other day. Mr. Miller runs the Jazmyne first period. I have planning period first period, so I get to kind of relax a little bit. One of the teachers, I won't tell you who, leans over and he says, "Hey man, I've got a bone to pick with you. I'm having a really earnest and a really sincere conversation with my group the other day, 7:45 in the morning. We're talking about how their generation is going to change the world. There are people crying in the room. We're really getting into it. And then all of a sudden we hear theme from Family Guy. Man, you killed their vibe." I'm like, man, it's not me, sorry. So, hey, thank you all for coming this evening. Just a couple things. I actually want to talk to you about the next ensemble that you're going to see. So as Jazmyne is very stealthily clearing away their equipment, you're going to see the concert band behind them. Their concert band is one of our two groups here. We have concert band and wind symphony. You're going to see both of those, and then a combined performance from the Symphonic Band, which is everyone in the program, to close out our evening. So these guys are, actually, do me a favor. Will you raise your hand, concert band, if you are a freshman at Jeffersonville this year? So we are constantly amazed, and especially at warm-ups before the concert this evening, we all kind of looked around and went, "Oh my gosh, this is going really well." I think you guys are going to be really, really amazed at the sounds that these guys are putting out tonight. So we tried a little bit of a different program this year. We took a little bit of a leap of faith in need. We kind of changed a lot of how we approach things. So these guys actually meet in 3 different class periods. The percussionists that you'll see in the back actually have a separate class period, 3rd period. The woodwinds meet in the other room separately, and then the brass students that you'll see up here actually meet 5th period. So they only actually see each other once a week. Kind of tough to put a full band sound together with that amount of time, but oh my gosh, these guys are resilient, they are smart, and they are on the ball. So I cannot wait for you to hear what they're doing. We have 3 pieces. Our first piece is called Fierce. It's pretty self-evident. You'll hear why. Our second tune is called A Song of Hope. It's actually written to kind of symbolize and signify post-9/11 America. Those couple months after, where the country was really, really, really searching for something to grab onto and some sort of reason, some sort of purpose to go on with. And then our final tune kind of takes us to the mountains of North Carolina. It's a bluegrass band-inspired piece called Blue Ridge Reel. Thank you all so much. We hope you enjoy.
Thank you.
So the last band you heard was Concert Band. This is Wind Symphony. Both Concert Band and Wind Symphony recently went to ISMA contest a few weeks ago. Did a wonderful job, golds all around. In particular on the Wind Symphony side of things, we were so excited with the literature they're playing and going in Group 1, which is the hardest literature you can play at contests. From one and out of the 3 judges, we even had a perfect score, which was amazing. So we were very excited. If you're a band person, you know about Phillip, Sousa, which is the composer of the march we just played, and talk about tradition of concert bands and bands in general. It's part of our education to make sure that we play Sousa. But that wasn't just an arrangement or a thing that we picked up, somebody's taken this and done this with it. That's actually the Marine Band a couple years ago went back to all of the old manuscript and reprinted it, and then published for free for all bands to go and print out as they need to the original Phillip Sousa band parts, the score and everything. So there's even notes in here that are printed for the students and say, okay, this is what was in the part, but in parentheses, like, this is what John Phillip Sousa told his band to do, because people have done the research on that. So it was really cool to be able to do that, the history of that piece. And I was even talking to Hayden today, who was playing bass drum on that. Like, you could go back and look at a picture, black and white picture from the Sousa band where they all have like beards, like down the beard and stuff like that. And he's literally playing that same part. So you look up that guy, which is really cool. But before we start this next piece, I do want to take a minute to talk about it, because man, it takes a lot of musical maturity to play an original Sousa piece, and a lot of bravery when it comes to musical technique and all those things. But this next piece really takes a lot of bravery of a different kind. It's a beautiful, beautiful piece, but I hope you had a chance to read in your program notes. Kevin Day, the composer, he wrote this in 2020 as a response. This was right after all the stuff going on in our world with George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and in the program notes, those lists of names that go on and on. And unfortunately, that is still a thing that is still present today that we are dealing with. And we brought this piece to the students and we said, this is an amazing work of art, but do you want to do this? This is a challenge, this is kind of a heavy thing. And they took it on. And it's really hard to, they come to band after lunch, so they're coming in, they just had lunch, they've been in the lunchroom, and then we pull this piece out. And just rehearsing this piece in the first moments where some of these really meaningful things happen in the piece, it's really heavy material to work on. And they have done the subject material, this work of art, they have really done it justice. And I encourage you to think about, as you go throughout this piece, Kevin Day has done a wonderful job of reminding us through music what some of those experiences and it's a really just amazing tribute to all of those lives. So that's what we're going to present to you here for our next piece. It's called Requiem for the Unarmed. I'm going to give our percussionist just a extra moment or two to get ready for the next piece. Because in this piece, we're actually relying on, you may see some familiar faces, we're relying on some concert percussion to come back in. This next piece called Stormbreak is really a percussion feature, sort of a band accompaniment, which has been really fun for us to work on. And just to mention, when you look at the wind symphony up here, when you see the concert band earlier, you're going to hear a lot of thank yous as we do Symphonic Band and everything. But I do want to give a big thank you to Mr. Tabor and the work that he's doing with the concert band, but also you see a lot of his work within the wind symphony as well. So I just want to personally thank him. He's a wonderful, wonderful asset to our program. So thank you very much. And as Wind Symphony plays their last tune, just to say how proud I am of this group, with the amount of stuff that we have been through, especially I'm thinking in my mind senior class, of how abnormal and up and down and crazy and all those things that have been going on in the past years. And they're here and they're doing amazing things that average high school musicians don't. And there's a lot of excellent work going on, and we're really proud of them. And it's amazing to see what they've done throughout the year. If you attended our fall concert back at the Big Four Bridge in September, you can kind of think back and just think about the progress and the journey that we've been on. So I think Stormbreak is ready back there into percussion. We're going to have a short little transition to do some special tunes with our Symphonic Band, which is everybody on the stage. So here's Stormbreak.
as we transition here and start to close up business, just a couple of things as we finish up here. First of all, I'd like to personally thank Mr. Miller and all of the work that he does. Band directing can sometimes be a very thankless and very stressful job. For instance, I got my first teaching job at the age of 22. Gray hairs soon followed. I will turn 30 this year. So Mr. Miller, I know toils and has spent several sleepless nights worrying about these young people up on stage. So can we all give Mr. Miller a round of applause? Also, the person I probably see the second most in my life, that would be my lovely wife, Cora. I know I spent a lot of time here, and it is a very, very thankless thing to be the spouse of a band director. So, Cora and Allison, Mr. Miller's wife, thank you guys so much for all that you do. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but there's a pretty special thing going on here at Jeffersonville, especially in the music education side of things, and really all the way up and down our hall, between the visual arts, the drama, or the theater department, the choir department, and the band. So a lot of these guys actually partake in many, many different things, whether it be the arts, whether it be different sports. Guys, just a show of hand, how many of you are involved in something other than band at this school? These guys can do it all, and it is a pleasure and an honor to share the stage with them. Before we get out of here, seniors, you don't know this is coming. Will you guys do me a favor? Will you stand up, please? Stay standing for a second. So there are some fine young people that are standing before you on stage, and I got to tell you, these guys have been a real joy to work with, and it's been across the board. We absolutely would not be able to do all the things that we do here without their stalwart leadership and their strong will and their hard work and tenacity. So much so that there's a handful of these guys, well, one of them in particular that spends 4 class periods a day out of 7 in the band room. Because he loves it that much, and then 2 others that I'm thinking of in particular that would leave the band room after we do if we would let them. We have to kick them out at 10:30 or 5:30 or whatever the heck it is. So thank you, seniors, for all that you do. Can we recognize our senior band members one more time? Thank you. Okay, last few here, and then I promise we'll get on to the music and finish this thing up. A couple more thank yous. I know we have some administrators that are pulling some double or triple duty tonight. We have Dr. Evinger, our Public Service Academy principal. Dr. Evinger, if you are here, thank you so much for all that you do and all the support that you give us. We spend a lot of time in Dr. Evinger's office, and she never turns us away, and I think that is awfully brave of her to listen to us that much. Also, Ms. Hall, thank you for all that you do and all the support of the arts here. It's a real pleasure to work here at Jeffersonville High School. Parents in the room, thank you guys for all that you have done, for all of the terrible noises that you probably heard when they were starting out in band, and still tolerating that to this day, because we know it takes a lot of work from these guys at home. I can tell you, these guys, and I know from talking to a couple of these seniors, they're really going to miss it. And these young guys up here as well, we were rising up through our program. They really need your help and your support. So this is my call to arms. This is probably the most important time in their lives as far as formative thinking and right before they go off into the real world. And it really does. It takes a village to do all of this stuff. There's so much behind the scenes work that goes on from our band boosters and from parent chaperones and really everybody under the sun. So this is my plea to you. Please help us out. Get involved. We would love to have you guys around. We would love to have you on our troops with us. Thank you so much for all that you do already. Thank you. Last thing here. Our donation drum is so carefully set up in the back of the room. These things take a lot of time, they take a lot of effort, and they take a lot of money. So if you would, please give generously to our free concert in the back of the room. Please go ahead and give however you feel led to give, because all of that money goes back to these guys. I don't know if you know this, we feed them a lot, and if you can imagine what one teenager can do to a Chick-fil-A sandwich, multiply that by 100. There's some serious damage being done all the time. So it really does take a village. Thank you guys so much for your financial support, for your moral support, for your musical support. As we wrap up here, I'll let Mr. Miller talk a little bit more about the music, but you can see it in your program. We're going to finish up with two very important and very local tunes to us. The first one and the last thing that I'll conduct this evening is our state song on the banks of the Wabash. Thank you guys so much for free.
All right, I just want to do a few thank yous as well before we play our last tune. First of all, there is a wonderful, wonderful, and dedicated person that you hear from every single week, but you may have never met or seen. And that is Mrs. Cindy Scroggins. She helps us out in the band office and the emails that come out, all those things. She does all of that, plus 1,000 other things that just kind of magically happen because of her experience and all she does with our program. So I would like to thank Mrs. Scroggins for all the work that she does behind the scenes. And then we got some little money back there, so please excuse me if I repeat something Mr. Tabor said, but to all of you parents, if you have a student up here, you are a band booster. So thank you, and a special thank you to any parent that has come to a band booster meeting, and a special thank you to our band booster executive board. Making happen what happens up here is kind of like taking on another full-time job in addition to the one that you're already doing, and they do tons and tons of work, and they spend tons of time on it. So I'd like to give you a big thank you to all of those parents and all that they do. We have a band director friend from Oldham County. His name is Brad Rogers, and he always says, you know, there's a special place in heaven for the family members of band directors. So I want to say thank you to my wife, my family, my mom's here, all of our family, and then also to Mr. Tabor's family, including his dog Jax, who broke a window yesterday chasing after a ball. So thank you to all of our family for being here tonight, and thank you for all that you do. And then most importantly, of course, while we're all here, is thank you to all of the students who are here on stage, because there are two people on this stage that did not play a single note tonight, and that is me and Mr. Tabor. Everything that you hear comes from their hard work, starting all the way back when they picked up an instrument to the work that they're doing now and the work that they'll continue to do. We're extremely proud of them. I can't tell you how much growth we have seen this year, and I tell you what, like, as far as a group of people, there's not a better group of people. When they're in front of us and we're teaching them, like, the world goes away, time flies, and we look up and rehearsal's over because they're just amazing to work with. So thank you to all of you this year for what you guys have done. Thank you. I'm going to talk a little bit about seniors here in just a second, but we do have coming up. We're excited about the future as well, because one, of all the work that we've done this year, this group literally, through what band programs across the country have been through, you know, there's a time delay on the effects of a lot of what has happened in recent years when it comes to numbers and skill level and ability. What these students on this stage this year have done has saved and set the stage for our band programs for the future. And that's not an exaggeration. They have set up an amazing culture, because we lost a lot of that. You know, we lost a lot of that tradition, and they've reset and set a new tradition. And so for every freshman coming in next year, they're going to be walking into a band room and a band culture and a band department that these students have created. And it's an amazing place to be. And let me tell you, if you haven't talked to Mrs. Martinez over at Parkview, or any of the 8th graders coming up from River Valley, they are excited, and there's like 16 bazillion of them. So next year, I was joking, we're going to have to figure out something to do with jazz band, because there's going to be no way we can put them on the front of the stage next year, because we just won't fit. So, but what a wonderful problem to have. So super proud of the work that they've done. And with all that exciting stuff coming up, just to put in a plug for May 8th, all band members meeting right here in the auditorium We're going to be talking about all the dates for next year, all the different things going on with band class and everybody that's involved in band class. So make sure you're here for that. It'll be a fun night, and you'll get a lot of good information. And you'll be able to, if you fill out your paperwork that night, you'll be done for the whole year. And you don't have to have somebody come home and say, hey, fill this out or that. So come and check that out. Speaking of legacy, the seniors, I know Mr. Tabor had them stand up, but this last piece, the Hymn of Jeffersonville, we did a really awesome thing for our 90th anniversary, and that is we did an entire marching band show, an entire year where we celebrated our 90th anniversary back in 2019. And the world premiere of this concert piece, commissioned by us, for us, and it was dedicated by the City Council of Jeffersonville as the official hymn of the city of Jeffersonville. And the premiere of that was going to happen at this concert in the year 2020. So that never happened. And we did some online stuff, and we put together a video, but this piece has yet to actually be performed live for anybody. So you heard the state song. I thought it was kind of cool to put those back to back, because now you're going to hear the song or the hymn of Jeffersonville, specifically written for our band. And I know it means a lot to the seniors to do this, because not only is it like, oh, this is a beautiful tune, but there's a lot of memories associated along with that as well. Thank you for coming. We appreciate all that you do. We're going to play our last number here, and enjoy you. Thank you very much.